Oh, no, I see I need to fix my hair.
We are live, so we'll go ahead and mute, close our video and our microphones.
Okay.
see how I have it in order. So. And then signature. And then what I would do is. And then in case I'm not here, Suzanne or whatever staff can let them be. Right. But Loomis also knows that it's there and there now. So this is already, I still have to put one more date in here.
Okay, well,
So-
thank you for taking the time to go through that with me.
And I do the same thing for
Oh,
two.
yeah.
I checked the credit card. It's amazing. One slip for me.
Mine's like a million.
Check the credit card slips first. So, but it doesn't matter. And then, just so I feel less cluttered, I do this. And I don't throw it away yet, just in case I need to refer to it. And then start the process on the. And then these, I usually double check.
Make sure
And
there's
then
not
I'll
one in
set
there.
them here or here just to,
Give yourself some room.
yeah, not feel,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, do all that. Do you feel
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I think that's good. Usually I need like a dry run through, but I can go get my notes, so that's
Yeah.
good. I took copious notes today, so hopefully they were,
Yeah,
thank you for doing that.
you're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you.
Any people in there? I wonder where she is.
Morning. Marilyn's here in a minute, and she just wanted me to remind people we're on live stream right now as we come in. I'll be admitting more people.
Okay, there you go. Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Almost in.
Just gotta seal this. I'll finish this up later. But all the monies.
Are they coming now?
They've been coming afternoon.
Okay.
12:01. I'll put this up.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
A few more have joined. I'm just letting people in. Marilyn's also here. She'll be on in a moment. And we're on live stream today.
Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Hello there.
Hi, Bonnie.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, really, actually doing
Yeah.
really good. So,
Good.
so ready to start.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's gorgeous out there.
Isn't it though? That'll help the strawberries ripen.
It'll be good. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, did you do anything this weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
Just kind of got myself back into my routine since I was
Good,
gone for
good.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Trip going or the bus going up to the Rose Parade.
uh-huh.
My son told me he wanted to go.
Uh-huh.
And then he's coming from California.
Oh.
He comes once a month. And then I get a text saying, Mom, my car's broke down. I'm not going to make it.
Uh-huh.
And he forgot that it's next weekend.
Oh.
So luckily he'll be here.
Well, great.
So, yeah.
I
Didn't
thought
work
only
out in the
senior
end.
citizens did things like that.
No, not this one. No. So, yes, it's gorgeous out.
Mhm.
Gonna be a beautiful day.
Get my coffee.
We've got 12. That should be, well, 12 minus 2 is 10. So we're missing.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Fine.
Annie, are you frozen?
No, I'm coming. Well, I was looking at Word, your report, because I just got on and I was like, oh, shoot, there's a report here too. So I was looking at it. I'm back.
Okay.
Annie, you always look like you're in Star Trek because the background is all blurry and I keep.
Yep, it is. I have a lot of love in my home. So when I got this newer laptop, a friend said, because I kept trying to do things and other people go, no, we love seeing all of that. And so anyway, friend taught me how to blur it.
I'll have to learn that.
Well, I'm working in someone else's office today because we're trying, the YouTube has a delay. And
Mhm.
so I can't function on my own computer and start the YouTube because it has me in an echo and it drives me insane. So I have it set up in my office going.
Oh,
And now here I am in someone else's computer. Well, they have 3 screens and I can't look at my screen into the camera and see you. So this is weird.
Oh. Oh, wow.
It's a production nightmare, everyone. Very good. Well, how are we doing, Ron, on starting the meeting?
We're about 4 short of full.
Steve went fishing.
Let's see.
And 2 people had said no, they couldn't make it.
So are we at a quorum?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, we have 6 out of 11. Yep. Let me just, yeah, it's 12 participants.
So
Yep.
for a quorum, if we have 12, do we have 12 advisory commission members? Suzanne?
No, but what, 4 of those you and Suzanne and Heidi and Bonnie. So,
We don't count, right?
but we do have 2, 4,
Suzanne,
6.
can you please look at the roster and tell me how many advisory commission appointees we have, please?
We have 6.
oh,
There are 11 members that, and the bylaws actually say 8 is a quorum. It doesn't say a percentage. Actually,
Well, we can still meet. We don't have any action items anyways, for vote. So we can proceed. We just won't be able to approve minutes or agenda, and we can go on as an information only meeting and can go from there.
So we'll do that. Okay, so I'd like to welcome those of you that were able to make it today to the June 7th, 2022 session of the Center 50 Plus Advisory Commission. Suzanne, can you take attendance up to this point, please?
sure. So, let's see, Alan Scott,
Here,
Elise Lipnick is excused. Annie Batey,
here.
Bonnie McGregor,
Here,
David
Oh.
Haber,
Bonnie McGregor is here. Yep.
yes.
David
sir.
Haber is
Okay.
here. John Hughes is excused. Julie Lutke.
Here.
Is here?
Okay, it's the microphone thing. Linda Schellenberg
Here.
and Margaret Manudian is excused. Ron Rubel,
Here.
Stephen Austin is out.
1,
So
2,
that's
3,
that's
4,
everybody.
5, 6, 7 at this point then. Okay, so I guess we're still 1 short of the 8, but we'll continue the way Marilyn just expressed. Okay, do we need introductions at this point, or are we pretty well beyond?
I think that, I don't think it would hurt for a quick introduction, just name and if you represent an agency or if you're representing yourself, that's just a good help for everybody.
Okay, everybody should have a copy of the agenda that was sent through email. Why don't we go down the list of commission members as shown on the agenda, starting with Alan.
I had to unmute me. I'm Alan Scott, a recent board member or commission member. I don't know what more to say about me. Retired. I do computer stuff and coffee. That's me.
And you are a senior or a general patron member.
Yes, and a Friends of 50 Plus member.
Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
And Annie.
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I heard the IE part.
Oh,
I'm Annie Bate. I think I'm a probably general center member too. Is that right, Marilyn?
That's correct.
Okay. I am the retired neighborhood services counselor with all the neighborhood associations and have had the opportunity to do a few programs over the years with Center 50 Plus. And my question actually would be on the quorum. Is that a city determined we need to have 2/3 to conduct business, or is that something that the commission decides on?
That is it is ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not easy to change.
No, I mean, we already modified it. We did a full modification of the number of board advisory commission members and our agency partners identified. That was quite a lengthy process, and we did that. And in that period of time, they established what a quorum would be.
Okay. If we could decide, are we going to always ask the day before whether we have enough people for a meeting? My question is, I didn't even see that until I came on this morning.
So thank you, Annie, for that, because we normally established this at the last month's meeting, that we talked about whether we were what our schedule was going to be.
Right.
It was the misunderstanding is I had hoped that I was asking the question about the July 5th date, the day
Right.
after the holiday. And there was some confusion in my direction. So that's why you got it. It
Okay.
was in hopes of planning for next month, but that we can
Oh.
talk about that. Yeah,
Okay. Because I set my alarm so I can be here.
that's right. And you're here, so you get 2 stars.
Well, no, I don't need 2 stars. I just don't want to set my alarm if we're not going to meet.
Mhm. So normally we wouldn't send it out the day before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marilyn. You guys are wonderful.
Once in a great while, we'll all of a sudden get people all at last minute emailing, I won't be there, I won't be there, I won't be there. And then we'll go ahead and reach out and say, hey, we've received 5 cancellations. Anyone else? Because we won't have a quorum. So that's rarely happens.
okay. And next on the list for introductions would be Bonnie.
Hi, everyone.
Oh,
Bonnie
which
McGregor.
Bonnie?
Bonnie M.
Hi. I've been a volunteer and Friends of 50 member. And I've volunteered in the boutique at first. Now I'm in the cafe, and I recently volunteered and started working for the respite program. And I love it. It's an amazing workshop. I was really impressed. And I'm finding out there's so much more to do. So I'm, other than being retired from the state and my own, we had a business, a DJ business, karaoke DJ. Other than that, I'm really happy to be here. So
Thanks, Bonnie.
that's good.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Uh-huh.
David? Oh,
Oh,
David,
you're on mute.
your volume was, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I think my title is Visiting Professor in the Gerontology Department at Western Oregon University. I don't visit very often, but I am involved in the department in a variety of ways. So I'm still active, still represent them. I'm a friend of the center, if not formally, informally. That's about it.
Thank you, David. Julie?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Ledke. I am the ADRC Program Manager here at Northwest Senior Disability Services. And I've been around for a couple of years, I think. So
Thank
good to see
you.
you.
Linda? Thank you, Julie.
Linda Schollenberg. I am the president of Friends of Center 50 Plus. And I've been on the SCAC board for a couple of years now. And I also did respite, Bonnie, and I'm looking forward to getting back in there.
Good, good,
Yeah.
excellent. It's
Yeah.
fun. Man.
Yeah, it's a good learning experience.
Extremely, yeah.
And that's
Okay.
about it.
And thank you, Linda.
Uh-huh.
And the last is me. I'm retired from numerous entrepreneurial business endeavors. At this point, I spend my time with a variety of nonprofit organizations, including this one. I'm also a Friends board member. I'm also a board member of the Salem Art Association and the Salem Art Association Endowment. I'm also a board member of SCAN Neighborhood Association. That pretty well takes up most of my time. Okay. One for your information. By the agenda, this meeting is scheduled to end at 10:30. And I'd like you to know that I consider that a personal commitment of me, your chair, to you. And I would like everybody's awareness as we progress through our meetings, both this time and in all times, to be aware of what the time is so that we can respect everybody's planning for the rest of the day and not encroach beyond the 10:30 time. Okay. We should have received by email copies of the agenda and the minutes. We cannot, because of the lack of one-person quorum, approve the minutes, but I'll just ask informally if there are any changes that are desired for the agenda as sent out.
No.
Well, there is one change. We have, I think, for the third month tabled the issue of the planning aid that was discussed months ago. I'd really like to take that from the table and see if we can do that and just pass it on and be done with it one way or the other. So why don't we add that under information reports. Okay. we have no public representation. We do have staff members from the center in terms of Kenoi and Heidi and Bonnie. And I would expect that we'll have some comments from you three. Is that correct?
As a part of my director's report, I've asked them to attend.
Great. Okay. We have an action item is something that we brought up to be prepared for discussion of that at this meeting, and that's fighting loneliness. I look to Marilyn for a lot of the comment on this particular topic. I sort of consider Marilyn a real expert on that, as I do with Heidi. We have a segment of the senior population that this has become a significant problem, and we as Center 50 Plus probably could well shoot, we've considered different parts of this, and I think that well, I don't quite know how to express this.
Well, Ron, do you want me to give a report of what we do and where our funding comes from and how we've been managing loneliness? Because we have kind of a whole section called Outreach Services, which is solely devoted to fighting, combating loneliness and isolation. And as a matter of fact, just a quick reminder to the commission, we had no income coming in for the first full year of the pandemic, except for the COVID response funds from the government, in particularly designated to us for our loneliness and combating social isolation over the last year and carrying forward. And actually, our loneliness and social isolation programming began several years ago with our Friendly Caller and Friendly Visitor program. So I love that we're having this conversation, because it means that we're thinking about our community and remembering that social isolation and loneliness exists. But I will add that much of our efforts the last 2 years, the funding for and the program delivery, was honestly, that's all we did. I mean, for much of our time, because we weren't open and we couldn't do services from our building, every staff person was converted to social isolation and loneliness staffing. And so I don't know, Heidi, if you're ready to talk through your programs today, but I loved your report, and I would love for you to share with the commission the multiple layered elements that we're doing so that they get a full picture, and then we can discuss where are the gaps. And when we identify a gap, how are we going to pay for it? That kind of bigger picture.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Great to be with you. Let's see. Addressing the issue of isolation and loneliness specifically, we have our Friendly Caller program, which matches a volunteer with a shut-in who just needs that friendly connection and support. It's really about building one-on-one regular contact with the intent of building meaningful relationships. So that's our Friendly Caller program briefly. And then our Friendship Brigade, prior to the pandemic, was specifically focused on ensuring that no one feels isolated or alone, in particular in nursing home and community care environments. In those environments in general, that's a place where if you need medical supports or whatnot, you didn't choose to go there. You didn't choose your neighbor whom you might share a room with, or several that you might share a room with, or the people you eat with. And so even though you might be in a room full or a facility full of people, you can still feel tremendously alone. And so we created the Friendship Brigade to recruit, train, and connect volunteers to go in and to befriend the residents who live there. And in doing so, actively engage those residents, because research demonstrates that when you meaningfully engage another person so that they share who they are and allow you to get to know them and get to understand them, that's when you really have an impact on loneliness and isolation for the individual. So we were successful with that program prior to the pandemic. We had over 115 volunteers that were going into 12 facilities. And then after the pandemic came and we couldn't go into those facilities, we still stayed in touch with newsletters and our very active card and caring card program. Friendly callers were making calls into those facilities to maintain those relationships. And we did window parades, and we did friendly dog visits right at the window. We did all sorts of, I think all of us know that there was just so many ways that we couldn't go in, but we found our way in. And it really made a difference for our people. In the report this month, we were talking, I did a little focus on Willamette University. So this is a great example of engaging the college students in that mission. We teach them about the issues of isolation and loneliness, which prior to the pandemic, again, actually, it was Vivek Murthy in his first go around as the Surgeon General who declared loneliness as an epidemic in our community. And where our senior population, again, prior to the pandemic, was really the focus, our focus, it turned out that Cigna did a signature research paper and discovered that it was actually teens and young adults, 18 to 25, that were most at risk of the effects of loneliness and isolation. Lots of research demonstrating the health benefit, or risks rather, which anxiety, depression, early onset of dementia, longevity, heart disease, all of those things are impacted because anxiety and depression impact our fight or flight and other things. So it's just been a really interesting thing to dive into, and we've been in it for a while. And through the pandemic, we also learned that if we just focus on the pandemic as it went on and kept on going on, it started grinding all of us down. And we all started to understand for the first time what it was like to be isolated and separated from friends and family. And so as a culture, not just, and especially our senior population, but as a culture, we all got a taste of what it means to be alone, to be isolated, to be denied the opportunity to celebrate landmark opportunities with friends and family and do those vacations and be in charge. And so one of the things that we're doing this year is with our Rebound series, and that theme is to allow people the opportunity to express who they are and where they are at this phase of the pandemic, and invite them to share the exhaustion and the frustration and loneliness, and then build a plan to get back out there and to get engaged, and to remind them that this is not a time to sit still, and it's not a time to lose, your sense of self. And so the Rebound series is called Take Back Your Right to Thrive. And then, of course, Kanoy and David Haber, put his wonderful Promoting Healthy Aging series together. We're bringing that out into the community. And I consider both of those programs a response to isolation and loneliness in reminding people that this isn't a time of life to put life on hold. It's a time to take care of yourself and to be a part of the community and to get engaged. And so those are all things that I think are important to share with our programming currently.
Thank you, Heidi. I think, in addition to that, the Wellness on Wheels program, the 2 vans that we operate, that's solely designed to support people that are unable to connect with others due to mobility issues or other reasons that keep them from coming out of their homes. So when in doubt, the Wellness on Wheels and the funding that came for that was to take what we have, go to them. So when you think of multi-layered response, we've always had Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels goes to close to 1,000 people a day. And that face and the training of those drivers to be more than just dropping it off, but a greeter, a welfare check, is one step to combating loneliness. Then we elevate it to what are things we can bring to them that, as Heidi always says, gives them good
things to think about.
Good things to think about,
do
and feel. And so that's delivering programs that they can do from their homes or with companionship. But I think one of the things that we've always known and we identify with, because we're about relationships. Senior centers are unique in the fact because that's what we're all about, friendships and engagement through relationships. Heidi mentioned that some of our loneliest seniors actually live in facilities with 100 other people.
Mm-hmm.
And as a community, we may not recognize that you can still be lonely and be surrounded by people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they don't have engaged relationships. Nobody is asking them the question. And the other piece, so critical, is we're not giving them a purpose. We're not showing them through this relationship how they can still contribute. Loneliness and isolation means engaged, connected, having purpose. For us to engage seniors in purpose, especially people that have mobility issues or maybe have a whole set of physical limitations, it takes one-on-one and it takes ongoing relationships. It's the connection to a friend and somebody that's walking alongside them through the process and their cheerleader to try something, do something, participate. We talk about people that live in care facilities. We talk about people that have been shut-ins in their homes for years. We believe they still have something to contribute, but we have to help them do that. So even if it's something like writing a card to a friend, we provide them with a stack of cards and we say, will you put good words in these and we're going to share them. You're giving. Or we have people that will do a project from home, stuff envelopes, or be a friendly caller. My favorite is when they start as a friendly caller where they're receiving the call, and then they become so healthy, they're now the caller.
Mm-hmm.
And they have moved from being someone that we're caring for, but we're now moving them to a purpose where they are caring for another. And that whole piece is where loneliness and isolation means separated from others.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can help them, whether it's through mail, technology, phone calling, one-on-one visits. We can engage people and address loneliness. So actually, when we talk about loneliness, have we fixed it? No, people are still lonely. But every program we are implementing in every form, we're saying, how are we going to use this to fight loneliness and combat isolation?
Mm-hmm.
And that's from receptionist training all the way through the classes we deliver to each of our program areas, especially our villages.
Mm-hmm.
Our desire for villages is really that. We identify that we only have seven FTE at Center 50 Plus, and we do have a great group of volunteers, but we are not enough workforce to provide that level of ongoing relationships people need. And that's a piece of the Villages network that we're trying to multiply ourselves, multiply our volunteers by engaging seniors to become friends with people that live in their geographic area so that they too can assist a neighbor in not feeling lonely or isolated. They're engaging them with other seniors, other members of their community to be a part of things. Again, combating isolation and loneliness. So, definitely it is our top priority currently. It will continue. And I'm actually, it's been our priority prior to COVID. It was already where we had shifted our money and our energy. The final kind of support for our loneliness outreach and isolation work is that we now have a permanent position budgeted with Heidi and a half-time assistant that's solely devoted to managing our outreach efforts, which is a growth because it started as a grant-funded pilot program. And, you always hope that it's going to work and that it's going to turn into something permanent. But the good news is this is one that did. And because it's not just the city that thinks this is important or Center 50 Plus, but the nation, the funding is available, the different supports for this huge epidemic. So thank you, Heidi, for the update. Anybody any other thoughts on this about... Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. I would like to find out thoughts about pen pals, getting pen pal programs, not just, we can start with kids and that would be a way to engage. I was thinking about, it's so cool to write a letter or get a letter. And that's and like watching MASH, how the mail was the most important thing. So maybe get a pen pal thing going. That's my idea.
Yeah. Bonnie, I love that. Again, I want to bring your attention to the Willamette students. That was one of the ways that, because of course they needed to isolate so they could stay in school and not be risking exposures and that sort of thing. But then also the facility that Willamette is connected to, adopted in partnership with us, is Windsor Downtown, and they started a pen pal program.
Excellent.
Another piece that we can dust off is we did have a pen pal program with 5th grade students, and our seniors and the students did an exchange of letters on an ongoing basis, actually for a year. And so definitely as the schools, schools have been pretty burdened. I think every teacher is thrilled that we're coming to a summer break because they've been stretched so thin thinking in terms of just existing. But I think we can dust off those programs again. We've carried on with the writing and the letter writing and the pen pal option, but we can always expand it by reaching to our schools, especially as we expand our villages. The whole desire is to partner with the school and a church to support a senior village and to be a part of it. And that would be another group that we could reach out to, whether it's pen pals, friendly visits, friendly phone calls. So. Good. Hi, David.
I have a question. It's a follow-up on Alan Scott's idea in terms of modifying our webpage and even beyond that, getting some monthly publication, maybe, online that informs people what we're doing, some of the activities that could connect people that may not otherwise get to their attention. I think it could help the villages. It could help the Promoting Healthy Aging program. I have another idea about program that, it's kind of hard to just rely on something that's quarterly or a web page that's not too helpful. At least it wasn't to me. So I don't know, Alan, did you want to chip in on that?
So I would just add, David, thank you. I was just going to say the new website launches this month for the city of Salem. And I think that it's a good opportunity for you to look into it and see what you think of the new format. I know Heidi has implemented a newsletter and calendar system for the villages. I think we can work on a newsletter process. I do send out an e-letter. We send out about 2,100 e-letters and about 300 to 400 people open them. And so we are excited because 50 Plus Magazine is back out and it is a print product. And we're finding that we're still finding that many of our current patrons prefer that hard copy paper newspaper, and it does list ways to connect, all of that. So we're trying to figure out how to balance both. But the website will be launching this month. I've taken a look at it. It does seem user friendly to me, but again, we're going to have a opportunity. I talked about this last month. Once the website goes live, we're actually going to have a focus group, a whole day where people come in here and get on our systems, our website, our registration software, our different systems that we're using here. And then we're going to stand there and we're going to find out exactly where the hiccup is. Because right now we're not getting very good information. It's helpful when someone tells me it just didn't work for me or I didn't find it very helpful. But it would be more helpful if right in the moment that you were frustrated, I knew. And if we see a pattern of frustration, then I can direct IT in a different way. I'm trying to get us to move from, I just don't like it, to this is specifically what happened to me and why I stopped right there. And I have asked Alan Scott and a couple of other volunteers that are in our tech world to assist me in this pilot this focus group. And I'm going to be inviting all of you to that focus group. And I want you, sometimes if you use your phone, I want you to bring your phone in and do it here. If you use a laptop, I want you to bring your laptop, and then we'll have some systems available as well.
Excellent. Fun.
I'm excited to see it, Marilyn. So thanks for that.
Marilyn,
Me too.
are all of us on that email list?
Yes, you should be. And I'm going to send you all a new MailChimp, and I'm going to ask you to email me back when you've received it so that I can find out how many of my email chimps are going to people's junk mail. And so I can find out what I'm doing wrong. And then also guide you on what your settings could be that's making things go to junk mail.
And Marilyn, what is it titled? Does it come from you?
It comes from me personally, and it says connection. What is it? It has the word connect in it.
Okay, that's fine. Things come out, and if it's not a name that I notice, that I recognize, it's hard to sometimes tell that it's something I want to open.
Yeah, Annie, you're right, because it does come out in the parentheses after my name and connect. It says marketing, doesn't it? Bulk marketing. And there's no other way to do it because we have to have that system for you to unsubscribe.
Right. I totally understand what you're saying. We had that problem with neighborhoods too.
Yeah. And we don't know, because I'll tell you, I get zillions of those. And unless somebody has told me, like John Hughes says to me, I'm sending out a newsletter, I will not read them. Now I have my handful of people that I know are coming and I'm ready for them. But the others, it's just, it's too scary. I'm afraid it's something I shouldn't be opening.
Right. And
Yeah.
when do you target that mailing to go out? End of the month, beginning of the month?
I do it the last week of the month
Okay,
for the following month.
thank you.
The last one that went out should have been inviting you to volunteer at our cleanup day.
Yeah, I did read that.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me what it said, though.
Any other comments? I've got a question for you, Marilyn.
Mm-hmm.
How would you define our target population with regard to loneliness? Are we looking for anybody, that's in the senior segment? And are we looking for them, or are we waiting for them to come to us?
It's many. We have about 9,800 people that are in our database, and that just means they've connected to us in some way. And then we have our Meals on Wheels partnership, which they are not necessarily connected to the center, but are identified as needing services brought to their home. And so we recruit that way. We promote all of it through our publications. But I would say our contacts with our partners, like Northwest Senior Disability Services, Salem Health, they identify people. Oh, and the other day we got one from the police department. And they identify us as someone that's assisting with loneliness and isolation. And so referrals are another source. So we recruit on our own. We recruit from the people that already are connected here. 9,800, we're like, how are you? How can we support you? And then we really rely on healthy, active partnerships with other organizations that work with seniors and not with seniors. I mean, we educate the business community. A couple of years ago, we had a really robust program where we trained people on gatekeepers and the gatekeeper training. Well, while we were doing the gatekeeper training, we educated them on, here you might be concerned for their safety and health. But if you just know someone that seems sad or lonely or you need some support, send them our way. And so that's through our marketing. Julie?
I just wanted to speak to that. First of all, shout out to Marilyn for coming to speak about this while I was away on vacation during our Older American Month celebration in May. But just so you know, just a little bit of process, ADRC receives upwards of 10,000 calls a year. And of those, my staff screen anybody who currently our focus is anybody 50 or older, just because we had a grant that initially was focused for senior folk, but we do take calls from everybody. But anybody who 50 or older, my staff are screening for, we have a loneliness screening that we do. And so that generates not only just data for us to know, to get a sense of who we're talking to, but that turns into referral both for resources for programs that Center 50 Plus offers, but also for the Senior Peer Mentoring Program, which is one of our internal programs, but it's an Older American Act program to provide connection and help people with mild to moderate anxiety and depression process how they're feeling about things and to find new ways to approach and problem solve. And so Marilyn's right. I just want to give a shout out that we connect with Friendship Line, with we give people, if they are experiencing suicidal ideation, we connect with them. And that way, anybody, who calls us is going to get a check-in of sorts. So I just want to let you know that's she's completely head on. Really hard to work. We really work hard to prevent isolation.
I'd like to follow up on that senior peer mentor comment. I'm a senior peer mentor, and yesterday we met and Chad said that he's getting about 13, 14 referrals a month. and could use some more volunteers to help out with the program. So if you know anybody who's interested, it's not a large commitment. We typically only have one person we're helping at a time. Meet weekly for an hour, and you get a training. So it's quite rewarding. So if anybody knows people who are interested, to let Julie or Chad Cox or Marilyn know.
Right. I would just add by Julie's comment and some of our other partners, the truth of the matter is loneliness is way beyond Center 50 Plus. I mean, we alone could never fix that. But through our partnerships, we own our piece and partner with others that are owning their piece, and we work together. But I also think that through this whole process of loneliness and isolation, we've changed our lens. When we're programming and delivering services or advertising or reaching out to anyone, we're always looking through the lens of how will this identify those that are lonely and isolated, and how will we serve them? And so it's not just one single component or one single organization. I think we're all in this. We all have accepted this as our focus for the now and into the future. And but it isn't just Center 50 Plus. I think that's really important for us all to know. Our resources will never end loneliness entirely on our own. But if we partner adequately, partner correctly, together we're going to chip away at that big mountain that we're dealing with.
Marilyn, I mean, the partnership angle is really the key, as you mentioned. Could you tell us briefly who are partners in something like loneliness is, or however that works?
Mm-hmm. So in terms
of partnerships that we have established at this point include.
So our key partners are Northwest Senior Disability Services and Catholic Community Services. Both of their senior organizations are our key partners. We also partner with the faith communities to be our identify people in their among their parishioners that could use support, but also to identify volunteers to help in their neighborhoods and throughout the community. We also partner with business community such as all of the facilities that provide community care for folks. We consider them partners. They have identified that they too cannot address the loneliness and isolation within their facility, and they need us as well. And so we partner with them. And then of course, Salem Health. Salem Health funded our Wellness on Wheels van because they recognized that they were returning people to their homes and often returning them without a lot of supports, but they were adamant about wanting to live in their homes, but may not have friendship or family supports to make that good. So the hospital is a big community partner. Another big partner is P3 Care Partners. They're a third-party administrator of, I would call health, what do you call them? Health navigators, healthcare navigators. They are a partner of our outreach. They too identified the need for a partnership with us. And beyond that, I would say all of our neighborhood associations we consider ourselves a partner, especially our N Squared and what, Annie, what do we call those?
Community progress teams that are supported by Salem Leadership Foundation.
That's right. Community progress teams is another one. So faith community, private business industry, agency partners, we identify and maintain those relationships with those all the time. You know what? We recently added Habitat for Humanity to our partnership list because they are willing to assist with minor repairs and home services and ramp building and things like that. Excellent. Most recently, it's a little new and it's maybe you will be like, why is that isolation? But we partnered with Salem Harvest, and we're going to be sending our volunteers in to pick leftover produce and vegetables and fruit. And then we will be delivering those throughout the community and supporting that. That's a new one that Heidi Miller was able to bring together. So partnerships are ever growing and changing. And that's how we do everything actually at the center, is we partner to deliver these services.
I'm thrilled to hear you're partnering with Habitat for Humanity now, because I volunteer with them as well. And the new Ramps and Rails program is just getting started. And oftentimes you or Northwestern Disability Services know the folks that have the financial need that will help them qualify for those services.
So it's so good. It's so good. And and of course, Marion Polk Food Share and Meals on Wheels. I mean, they are one of our large referral, they're our partner. We share client base, but we also do referrals and support one another.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. Oh, yes, Bonnie.
I was just thinking that we have so many agencies willing to help, and it's knowing who to go to. But I think the people need to know it's okay to ask for help. I think there's a fear, well, I can't let people know I'm feeling this way. And I'm wondering about when you have that radio time, how often do you get to speak about that and spread the word that, hey, don't be afraid. It's something we all need and it'll help.
That's a good point. I know Heidi spoke a couple of weeks ago about outreach, loneliness, isolation, supports that are available. We'll probably be able, I talk about it maybe every other week, but in terms of maybe an interview process where I'm bringing in Heidi or bringing in an agency partner, we can definitely explore that.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Good ideas.
Okay. In the interest of time, why don't we wrap this up for today's meeting? Of course, we can continue this topic in further meetings. At this point, I'd like to move on with the information reports, starting with Maryland's director's information report.
Okay, well, thank you. The notes have been sent out to you, so I'll just hit a few highlights for time. First, I want to thank Northwest Senior and Disability Services for allowing us to speak on loneliness and our services during Older Americans Month. But in particular, we were excited because the city of Salem did a proclamation for Older Americans Month, and it was presented to Northwest Senior and Disability Services. And I think that was great exposure for both of our agencies. Also, at the same night, the Mayor Chuck Bennett, received from AARP, the Age Friendly Champion Award. It is the inaugural award, and it was recognizing him for being a leader that says, let's be an age-friendly community. Let's work towards that. And I was not aware that not all cities and not all communities have leadership that are willing to make that commitment and be the champion. So it was exciting, and he's getting some recognition for that work and the work that this advisory commission and the age friendly assessment team was able to do. And it's thumbs up for us to keep moving forward what we've been doing and making those changes and addressing it one step at a time. In your packet, We have some upcoming events that I wanted to invite you to. On June 17th is Public Works Day. It's at Riverfront Park. It's in person after not being in person for a couple of years. And it is in person. It'll be again at Riverfront Park. The WOW van will be there. Come by and see us. And again, it is kid friendly. So grab a grandchild or borrow a neighbor kid and come down to it. We also have a couple of other times that we need volunteers. In particular, on August 13th, we've double booked ourselves. We have the Inglewood Forest Festival all day. Then we turn around and we have a WOW van pop-up at the movie night at Riverfront Park. They're going to be showing, is it Encanto? Is that how I say it? Okay. At dusk, we'll have the WOW van there. Love to have advisory commission members on the 13th, either staff the table at Inglewood Forest Festival or bring a chair, come watch a movie and staff the WOW van. But the more the merrier. Both will be good exposure for us. The other, please put on your calendar. This is the 50th anniversary of the City of Salem Civic Center. And we're doing that on August 18th from 3 to 7 p.m. We will have a WOW van and a Center 50 Plus booth. I could definitely use visibility and assistance there. But you really should come. It's a big deal. There's going to be community entertainment every half hour on 2 different stages. We're going to have a resource fair, and we're going to have so the dignitaries are going to do some little comments about, you know, the history and the special architecture and all that. And if you haven't been over, the library will be open, and they'll be doing tours and art talks and all sorts of different things. It's going to be a fun, family-friendly event. We moved it to 3 o'clock in the afternoon because there's a couple of neighborhood associations that are also celebrating their 50th year in existence. And we want them to be really active and a part of it. Well, most of those folks are working and it's a weekday. So they moved it to after work. For the center, we want to make sure you mark your calendar for September 6th. It's welcome back breakfast, and we'll talk about, that's the same day as our advisory commission meeting, so we need to discuss that. And then that Friday is an outdoor event in the parking lot called the Boot Scoot and Brew. We've done it many, many years. Then we took a break, and now we're back. So lots of fun things going on. There's a few other things on there, baseball game and national night out. Those are all on the calendar for us to do. Audio visual upgrade. This is a really cool thing. We were able to save up through the course of some years, $60,000 to upgrade our audio visual equipment here in the building. Now, every room here is already set up with projectors, screens, sound systems, but they're not, they're original. Some of them are original to our building, which was built in 2008. So we're going to need to upgrade. And there is a supply chain shortage and a staff installation shortage. And so the 60,000 has been moved to the new fiscal year so that we don't lose that money and we can continue with our project. The bulk of the things we're doing, though, will make it better for our virtual classes, our hybrid classes. So right now, you know, we just hammer out a way to do these virtual things in classes and be hybrid. There is a technology that's going to be coming in that's going to make it smoother and make it easier for our folks at home to take a class or participate.
Are you taking volunteers to assist in the installations? I'll volunteer.
Well, if you have time to go get your electrical license updated, I definitely would bring you in.
Okay, you need pros, huh?
Yeah. Looking at business sponsor list is take a peek what's going on. We do, this will be ever growing and changing. The money that we collect through our business sponsors go to our Friends organization, our 501c3. And then those funds are then contributed back to the center annually to support our different activities, programs, and services. Heidi already kind of gave you a quick overview. Please take a moment and kind of look at her report. Lots going on. We are excited because we're doing a pop-up program this year, and we are partnered with the Public Works GIS person, and they are doing, the idea of Where's Waldo, the book, yeah. Where's Waldo, and you look for the little guy. Okay, well, we're doing a spin-off called Where's the Wow, and they will be mapping where we've gone and then giving clues of where we're going. And we are popping up all over town. And what's going to be cool about that is not only are we going to get enthusiasm and excitement and extra story mapping, at the end of the year, my goal is to be able to report back to council how we intentionally reached out to every neighborhood and that we spread our resources out evenly throughout the community, and that this map will demonstrate that. And I think that's a really important thing as we're talking about fairness, things being equitable, but it also will help us say we fail and we don't hit every neighborhood correctly, or something gets canceled or something happens. This is a guide on how we can do better, where we have identified the gap. And then we can then intentionally redirect our resources and energy to fix it. So I think it's going to be good. And we're excited. So look for Where's Wow. Where's the Wow? Yes.
Be sure and tell us when you start that so we know where to look for Where's the Wow.
Yes. It will be on our new website.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you're going to teach us about that when we're in the focus group.
That's right. I'm giggling because Heidi cracks me up. I want you to note that her report takes 2.5 pages of my director's comments. So when we talk about combating loneliness and isolation, you can see that 2.5 pages are set up for the update on that. Lifelong learning. My Bonnie Kadich has waited patiently, but I want her to talk about her amazing, and we are limited on time, Bonnie, sorry. I want you to talk about your amazing cohort, outcome of your cohort, and a couple of things that we're planning for fall.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I too am excited for the future here of our cohort. Marilyn and I were able to sit down together a couple weeks ago and kind of talk about what we learned this past year and how amazing the cohort has come together, and where we see it going. The whole theme of the cohort is social learning with an emphasis of the 7 dimensions of wellness. So this year we of course did our social dimension. We tapped into our emotional dimension of learning who are we. And I think when we first started, Marilyn and I were tickled with the students' enthusiasm of coming back to freshman year. The time of high school where learning as a freshman, you didn't know what to expect, and you knew that it was going to be wonderful and you were going to learn and meet new friends. So that was this year. So, of course, a huge dimension for this cohort is the intellectual dimension. That's something we're going to take on for all 4 years with these cohorts. And I know we talked a little bit about how earlier, Ron, we were talking about how to get the word out and how are we doing in different ways, you know, our MailChimp and now our Marilyn putting together all these different groups to kind of study. But I think sometimes it's so simple, is that word of mouth. And I think freshman year was a great example of that. We started with 10 students. So what we did is we are now allowing them to invite a friend or family member, and it was instantaneous. I mean, some of them are saying, oh, I have 2 or 3 people that are interested in doing a cohort. So, you know, word of mouth and that social learning is so powerful. But I also want to emphasize the beauty of this cohort is our peer leadership. I have seen it this year with this freshman group. They are coming forward in again, learning, taking back what they enjoyed about learning. So peer leadership in itself, people are going to see it when we're out and about. They're going to hear about it because they're talking about it here at the center. So great freshman year. Next year is sophomore year. We're going into occupational dimensions. We're going into the environmental dimension. We're working on a group project. We're visiting nonprofits. We are learning more about our city. We're learning about our Marion County, and we're going to the state capitol. That's sophomore year. So if you remember, sophomore year was pretty serious when you were in high school. And you came out of that year feeling empowered. So that's what we're hoping for next year. Any questions?
Yeah, how often do people meet?
That is shifting and changing too, because what we learned, David, is they want more. They want the social learning group. They want to meet together more. They love building a relationship. You know, we were talking about combating loneliness and taking it to that next level of being a part of a group and the power of that. So we look at meeting at least every other month and bumping up, visiting on our tour bus, as well as meeting in locations, them driving on their own and meeting at different locations. We're also bumping up some of our social events. We're going to attend the Boot Scoot as a special group. We're going to have a New Year's social. And then the following 3rd year, junior year, we're going to have a prom. So just every year building more social time and meeting times.
I would just add to Bonnie's report, we're also building towards their senior year going on a DC trip.
Right.
So it follows the whole process of being a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, a senior. We're going to pull in elements of it. But you know how you have your curriculum that's a part of your cohort? Like this is for your degree or what? This is the classes you must take.
Your electives.
And then we are encouraging them and giving them a list of electives that they can take here at the center as a part of their cohort. So they'll have their core classes that they do as a group, and then they'll have an opportunity to select electives from the rest of our activities. It could be a Tai Chi class. It could be a writing your life story course, but encouraging them to grow and learn. One thing I was going to add here is, you know, we're always battling. As a matter of fact, it came up at my city council meeting. The question about the word senior. And, you know, it goes around and around, and we've never been able to resolve it. And some people are literally offended by the word senior. But I was laughing because there isn't any other time that people don't think it's great. You look forward to being a senior in high school. You want to work until you're a senior executive. I mean, there is no negative connotation with the word senior in all the rest of our lives until we become a senior in an age, and then we're offended. And so this whole kind of idea of freshman, sophomore, junior, senior is a little bit of a marketing tool to embrace it and remind people that it is a privilege and honor to reach that stage or reach that word in all the rest of the things. And so you'll see a little bit of writing on that as we work through the marketing of this program. And I think a little bit of dynamic we can use as we approach our organizations we speak before talking about this. I love the cohort. I love the idea of it because it addresses two principal things. People want to learn together. It gives them friendships, but it also helps us address that desire to be in smaller groups. There's only so many we can take in the program per year, per class, because the bus is only a certain size, the room is only a certain size. And so we're addressing that for people that are not ready to be in large groups. It is still a comfortable small group. And that's important too. I have Kanoy on. I see Kanoy is here. She's going to talk about very positive things and report her wonderful things that are going on. But Kanoy, I do want us to allow time to just briefly mention the dilemma where we saw an issue in terms of a student response to being in a group with other people. So I do want us to make sure we bring that up, okay? So you can turn it to me when you're ready for that.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mention some of the things that we have going on in the fitness center. Summertime is kind of an interesting time for us. We don't do a lot of different programming as far as our classes go because we have a lot of folks that are helping out with grandkids during the summer with childcare, or they're taking trips themselves. So we keep it kind of basic with what we've been offering throughout the year. The only class I see us taking away for the summer is our evening Tai Chi on Tuesdays. But we do have 3 other evening classes, the Flex and Fab, Zumba, and Zumba toning. So there's still some evening options. Our evening yoga and our evening Tai Chi will be back in the fall. So we just take a little break on some of those evening classes. But the really fun stuff that we do offer is our Adventure Club. Now, our Adventure Club has taken a little break, either due to COVID or kind of a low response in the past. But now that we have this awesome bus of ours, we can actually pack a few more people in. I used to take only 5 people in our little van, and we'd go and do little fun urban adventures in Portland, or we'd go beach combing at the beach, but we couldn't really grow because we only had room for 5. So I'm excited for this year to be able to take a lot more people with us. And some of the fun, exciting places we will be going. We will be doing a berry picking and jam making in June. We're going to be going over to Fordyce Farms and picking some strawberries. And then we'll come back and we'll make some jams, just probably do some freezer jam. And that will be in June. In July, we're going to do a best little Roadhouse lunch and mini golf. So people will be able to catch a ride down there with us. We'll play some golf and then we'll have a nice lunch. In August, we're going to do a kayak or paddleboard on the Willamette. We did offer that a couple of years ago and it was ridiculously popular. We had almost 25 people that signed up who either had never gone before or just wanted to go with people, didn't want to go by themselves, wanted to be safe. The last adventure that we'll take is a hike over at Silver Creek Falls. It's going to be just kind of a beginner hike. We're just going to do the 2-mile loop and we'll have some stretching at the end and a light snack. And then we'll head back. So that one's kind of a shorter day. But those are kind of a fun way to have something going, try new things, showing folks that fitness can be fun. It doesn't have to be done in the building. I did forget to mention on our berry picking, we're really excited to have retired dietitian Sophie Sparling with us. She volunteers here at the front desk. Just such a wonderful speaker, super fun and just sweeter than sweet. She's going to be doing a nutrition walk and talk with us while we pick our berries. So I think that'll be pretty fun. those are just kind of the future things. Right now, we were really excited. I mentioned in last month's report that we were going to be offering our Promoting Healthy Aging Roundtable discussion group. Well, we had our first class last Thursday, and we have 4 people in the class right now. We had 5, but we've got 4 for now, which I think is just a wonderful size for a pilot group. We've got surveys made, so at the end we can get some feedback and continue to offer these great classes. We have 2 facilitators. They are volunteer facilitators who sat with David and I and Heidi and learned the material over about 4 to 6 week span. So we're just really excited to spread that knowledge. David Haber is the one, if you didn't know that kind of helped us out with this. He spearheaded this whole thing and has this wonderful booklet of information. That's what we teach off of. So I'd invite you to join in on the next one. Right now, it's a 6-week class. We meet once a week, and it's for an hour and a half. And we don't have the next dates set up, but it will be in the fall. So we'll do the one summertime class, and then we'll do another one in the fall. So definitely stay tuned. Marilyn, I think it's a good time to hand it off to you now, as that's the class that we were speaking about. You're on mute.
The class was wonderful, and we got great feedback about the content, and we're excited about that very much. But I will tell you, it was kind of an aha moment again for me, because COVID is real and it still exists. And it was actually the first time that we actually had someone get up and walk out of a class because they surveyed the room to determine who was vaccinated. And when people would not answer whether they were vaccinated or not, it offended them. They left. Followed by a letter to me in my mail today that says that the disappointment they have in me and the center, that we would allow people to be here that are not vaccinated, and that it's irresponsible on our part. And unfortunately, my hands are really tied. I am not a healthcare office, and I am not a skilled care facility. So masks are optional, and vaccines are still optional in the country and here. And so we, as a city, even the city of Salem, we are not allowed to go around and ask people whether they're vaccinated or not. And we do not have a proof of vaccination requirement. And it is not a mandate, and it is not in place. So, and we do have people here that are not vaccinated in the population that come here. And I will tell you, between, just my first glance, I would say it's very few. In terms of, we had a really excellent campaign of people that followed the vaccination guidelines, but we still will have people that are not. And we cannot have people going around and pointing at them and demanding to know their vaccination status. It's patron to patron can't happen, and patron to speaker can't happen. And in this case, it was actually a dialogue between participant and speaker that became the main focus of the letters. So, this is a real hard place to be in, but it was a reminder to me that there are real, still remain passions on this subject. And as we roll out more and more, and the center is offering more and more, we will see passionate people in both sides of this discussion coming to the center. And as a staff, all we really can do is acknowledge and thank them for their feedback, acknowledge that we recognize that this is a concern to them, and they're making, in an effort to be as safe as possible, they are giving me this feedback. But I also have policy, procedures, and basic rights of the people that come here and the guidelines I've been provided. Now, if we were a healthcare organization, there are some things that I can do, but it still doesn't mean you can't come in without a vaccine. It's just a mask rule. And nursing care facilities, they can't mandate it, right? Julie, isn't it just they have to do higher testing protocols?
Honestly, I don't know I get so many transmittals about this, but our staff who go into the facility are required to wear all PPE. We are still, if we go to somebody's home, we wear PPE. The facility staff are required to wear PPE. I do not know the mandate of visitors. I believe my experience is that visitors are still required to wear PPE when they go in. I have visited a facility near my home, and thank you very much. Make sure you have your mask on, and
what about the vaccine though? What about the vaccine?
For vaccine, it's there's not a vaccine requirement for visitors to facilities, but you do have to do a screening every time you go into a facility. So you'll have to ask, screening questions are required. They ask you similar questions that you've had from the beginning of COVID. Have you been out of country? Have you had a recent, cough, fever, etc. Those are screening questions that we all just get to answer if we go in somewhere, and obviously mask up. We have a policy here too that we among our staff do not ask each other about vaccination status. We have a protocol for that. I'm sure many home health and clinics also do the same, and we all have a process for it. But it just just an encouragement to create unity and not division, and just say, what, this is something that is private health information, and we just ask you, if you have your own concerns, to bring them separately and not in the space of a class, because it causes division among the class.
So that's exactly what I believe was presented during this particular session. I love that you're saying how you said it, because by saying that, you're really saying to that class, don't do this to one another.
Right.
But by saying that, you're not saying that you're not vaccinated or vaccinated. You're saying that this is a subject we don't discuss.
We don't ask people's blood pressure. We don't ask their, about their rheumatologist appointment. We don't ask about any of that. Why would we ask about vaccination status? It's all protected health information. And that's just part of honoring each other. Unless it's part of your actual job, where some of our case managers do have to, know some things, but it's all protected and confidential. So unless, Center 50 Plus is not in that business at all. I can see where Kanoi might need to know basic things. So nobody has injury in the midst of a class, just say, hey, let me know if you have a weakness or injury we should avoid. But that's all voluntarily brought forward too. So
Julie, I loved the words you used. This was such a good experience for me. This had happened last week, and this is my first in-person class. We've done a lot of in-person fitness classes, and that has never come up. Now, this is our first in-person lecture, and I feel naive to say this. I didn't think to even bring that up. The whole subject matter is healthy aging. I should have thought ahead and thought this may come up. And I know in the content, we do talk about vaccinations, but I guess I was thinking that would happen then. I love how you use the words unity, not causing division. That would have been a great way, because it was kind of an awkward way that the class started. Here we all excited to be here. And then I did mention when she started asking, I said, well, and so as the center, and I spoke on our behalf, as Marilyn had told you guys what kind of our stance is, that this is optional. We don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, so we don't ask that. It didn't matter. This person just continued to ask. And so finding a way to bring more of a positive, like, here's why we don't ask, it's really bringing us all together. This is going to be such a fun group for the next 6 weeks. And I like that. I think next time, as I move forward in my in-person ventures with classes, I'll be sure to include that.
Well, and it's just
I'd
something
like
that
to
we need to
remind everybody that it's 10:25. We have 5 minutes left in this meeting. We
I
have
need
a
to-
few other things. Julie, you.
I just
wanna
needed to
say
take my
something?
leave because I have another meeting. It starts at 10:30. I need to get to, but I just appreciate y'all. And
Yeah,
if there's anything, I'm open to
understand.
conversation anytime. If I can be supportive, let me know.
Thanks,
Okay.
Julie.
Yep.
I think Alan Scott had something, and actually I already spoke to our fundraising effort, so this is the last on our agenda.
Great.
Um,
Thank
Linda,
Heidi and Kanoy for sharing that information with all of us.
yeah. Linda, did you have something you want to add on Friends fundraising, or should we move that to next month's meeting?
It's up to you. It doesn't matter. You know, it's up to you.
I
what
think
you
we
wanna
should
do.
move it to next month's meeting because there's things in the works at this point that are, not really reportable because
Mhm.
they're not completed.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
I'd like to thank Kanoy for this beautiful card I got. Can you see it?
Isn't it so cute?
Isn't that cute? Did you see it? With the boys? I just really appreciated that. So anyways, that's it.
Okay, great.
Alan,
All right, now we're getting ready to adjourn. Marilyn, the meeting in July will be on.
I need a confirmation. I really think we need to have a confirmation about Tuesday, July 5th. Because it's the day after 4th of July and many people, it sounds in theory like a great idea to meet. And then when it comes to practicality, the day after a fireworks or family gathering, they're not able to. So I was wondering if we could please make sure that we're gonna have a quorum by voting or letting us know if you're gonna be in attendance on Tuesday, July 5th.
Okay, so we didn't move that to the 12th?
Did we vote to move it to the 12th?
I thought I had read that it was on the 12th.
Yeah, I have it. I have an email that says it's on the 12th, or maybe it's just part of the agenda.
It was voted to move to the 12th at a former meeting.
So can we confirm that, okay, good. Are we confirming that will work for everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
The invitation will be for that then.
Okay,
good.
You might send a reminder email just at the, now to say to people, just want to be sure everybody understands so that everybody who wasn't here also gets it. And like the person that had to leave just a few minutes ago, so.
Okay. Like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
I move we adjourn.
I'll
And
second it.
thank you, Linda, and thank you, Alan. Okay, well, we'll see you all hopefully July 12th instead of July 5th for our next meeting. Thank you so much for your participation and for taking time out of your busy days to attend this meeting.
Thank you.
Great to see
Excellent.
everybody. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Annie, are we staying on?
We can, that'd be
Okay,
perfect.
I'm gonna go to my other computer and turn off
Okay.
the YouTube before you and I start talking.
Marilyn,
I'll stay on.
Marilyn, did you want
Yes.
to talk to me as well?
Yes, Christy was supposed to be, I think I got confused if we were doing it because Christy needs to join us
Oh,
and she is here in person.
uh-huh.
Let me meet with Annie and then I will call you.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Bye-bye.